I showed you the Boo one from the last video, but this one I'm going to show you how I did Zero. So this is the final product. I'll show you how I did it. So what I haven't shown is I took an image from Pinterest that I really enjoyed and put it into Canva. From Canva, I downloaded that into my computer, and then from my computer, I was able to use a projector in order to project it onto the paper. So I'm taking some gray paint that I've kind of watered down a little bit to create the gray background that I want, but you can still see the black outline of the image in the back. And that was the intention, is to be able to see it so that I can trace it later on with some black paint to make it pop. So here I did take some white paint and added some water to it in order to make it a little bit more transparent. Since Zero is a ghost, I was trying to get that same effect on the paper where you can see it, but also, like, you know, where it looks more ghost-like instead of just a straight white color. I was trying to keep the nuance of the character as much as possible, even though I think the white did come out a little bit darker than what I had wanted, but I'm still learning as I go. This is kind of one of the first paintings that I've done on banner paper. I have done one other one, but that was for my son's birthday. And this was a little different, but again, still learning. So the image that I'm using, the circle and the outline of Zero, was like almost like a goldish orange. And I don't know, I kind of felt like I wanted to lean in more towards like the just traditional orange color to match his nose. So that's what I ended up going with here. You don't have to worry about being too precise on the edges, on the outside edges, because you are going to cut those off. But obviously on the internal part of the image, you're going to want to try to be really careful to get the lines as crisp as possible. Another thing I will say, lesson learned on this, is that I think I'm going to invest in one of those, or a couple actually, some black paint pens with some fine tip and some wide tip, because I feel like painting with a paintbrush, the little tiny details of this, I struggled with it a little bit. One, because I was shaking, trying so hard to get it right, that I think I screwed the lines up a little more than I would have liked to. Also, I think the paint markers dry a little bit quicker, and I've seen a lot of other banner artists using these the paint markers for the outlines, and I really love the way that it looks. They're just very clean lines. It makes the image, it makes the banner look really crisp. So I think next time I'm going to invest in that. If I could make some recommendations, one of the things that I would recommend is that when you are tracing your image onto the paper, take your time with it. I did not. I kind of rushed through drawing it, and I wasn't as detailed as I should have been with the characters and the background image. Rushing through it didn't really work out very well because here you can see where I'm drawing like squiggly lines in the bats, and I'm trying really hard to see the image that I drew in the back and put the picture together, and at some point I did have to go back to my phone and look at the image to make sure. Well, what I realized later was that the squigglies in the bats was not just squigglies. I had done that to remind myself that those bats should be filled in fully with black. So I ended up having to go back and color the bats in, and had I taken the time initially to actually trace it out and draw it out the way that it should have been, then I would have known that. Then it would have saved me a lot of time from having to go back and look at my phone continuously. And also I think the image on the paper would be much clearer than me just trying to put lines where I think they should go. I think ultimately, at the end of the day, because this is a personal item, because this is something I've got at home, it works for me. But if you are a banner artist and this is something that you're doing for like a customer or someone who's paying you, I would definitely recommend being more thorough with your tracing. So apparently I forgot to record it, but I took my image, cut it out, and then glued it down to another piece of banner paper. I used Gorilla Glue gel, and I personally don't like the way that it did. So next time I'm going to use a different gel or a different adhesive. So this is me trying to go back and glue all the edges that didn't work. I poked 2 holes in it to put my grommets. I ordered these from Amazon, popped them in. I would recommend practicing on banner paper that you're not using before you attempt it on your project, because for me, I struggled with it a little bit. I had to do it a couple times and waste a couple in order to get it right, but once you do, I think it makes it look really nice. I then had some extra wire and I ran that through that. Wasn't sure exactly how to attach it. I was kind of just flying by the seat of my pants, but I ended up taking a pencil and just wrapping it around. Here, I took some tissue paper to stuff the bottom. And then I had to go back and glue it again because the glue was not working and it was popping up all over the edges. So I ended up taking some safety clips and putting that all around the edges to hold it. So again, next time I'll use a different adhesive. That one was awful, but anyway, this is what it looked like on the door.